Choose your favourite neighbourhood.
Well, now, I knew you were going to ask this, because you always ask this to people, and my awkward answer is, Robert, I don't really have a favourite. I mean, an honest answer is, I do like exploring. I like going around on my own and wandering into strange places that I don't know. I like going to places I don't know. I like turning up unexpectedly, and so the London I don't know is my favourite bit of London, I think.
But, alright, then let me try and narrow you down a little. Would you be north of the river or south of the river?
Either. I think there's
a
a lot of snobbery going on about North London. Oh, North is better than South, and South better than North.
East or west?
It's the same goes,
You could be anywhere then.
Yeah. Well, that's the slightly awkward thing. I mean, you've had celebrities on the show, I know, and I pity you for that. But when you've had pan-global phenomena, such as myself, then if you tell the viewers where you're going to be tomorrow morning, then they might all be there. So we play this sort of game of cat and mouse together.
All right, you won't give me a favourite neighbourhood. That means I'm putting you down as Croydon.
And what is wrong with Croydon?
Nothing whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever wrong with Croydon, but you're there.
Wouldn't you be able to say enigmatic?
If you've abrogated all responsibility for a favourite neighbourhood, you're getting Croydon.
Ooh,
That's
don't
it.
you know some big words? Abrogated. I thought my enigmatic was rather good.
Enigmatic was quite good. I could probably top it. Your favourite building. Now this you have to tell me.
All right. No, I will give you answers to all of them. It's just I didn't want to tie myself down. I like young ladies to tie me down. Now, wait a minute. My favourite building is the Brick Lane Studios.
Very good choice.
Which are the rock studios. But what is fantastic about that building is that it's practically invisible. Brick Lane is a lovely building. You'll know very well. But it's mainly curry shops. And then
well, it is kind of halfway up, and then it sort of switches to being things trendy.
No, Brick Lane Studios is about 15 paces from the junction at the end of the road.
Right.
But what's wonderful about it is that, like a lot of London, there's just a little green doorway.
You wouldn't know. You'd never know.
Yes, that's what's magical about it. And you go down there, there's some steps upstairs to somewhere else, some scuzzy old steps on the right. And if you go down there, there's just a doorway, and it opens up with, a nice guy comes and opens it up, and then you go inside there and you see a huge poster of Queen. And you see, Queen, the band.
Yes, I didn't think you meant the Queen.
And a huge poster of The Clash as well. Because this is where Bohemian Rhapsody, the original by Queen, was recorded. And it's also where London Calling was recorded by The Clash. But it's a lovely, nice, very functional, but sort of secretive, something vaguely Dickensian about it. But the main thing about the place is this is where Bad News, the best heavy metal band in the world, recorded Bohemian Rhapsody. And also, this is where, just recently, I recorded Noble England, my new single, for
Very
Our
important
Nation.
record. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's your favourite building. But there must be a building you dislike, because I'm going to let you get rid of one. You can take something off of the skyline, off the map.
Well, I thought this might surprise you, actually, because my most hated building is Westminster Abbey.
Why Westminster Abbey? That's not very kind.
Well, I know, but it's not the building's fault. It's just that when I was a little boy, I was only 14, and I was at school in Worcester, I'm afraid, and I came down on a school trip to see London. We went round Westminster Abbey, and I wanted to go to the toilet, and I couldn't find the toilet anywhere, and I couldn't find the toilet
didn't wee yourself in Westminster Abbey?
No, I fouled myself in front of the altar.
Oh, stop it.
And that's why it's my least favourite building. I can't say I hate it, but I hate the experience that I had in there when I was a kid. It's 1972, Rik Mayall pooed himself accidentally.
There you go.
It's live radio, I have to tell you the truth.
You do, and you did. What's the best view in London? And I hope it doesn't include defecation.
Not defecation. The best view in London, again, we're back to Brick Lane Studios.
Yes.
Now, this is which is Trevor Horn's studio. Don't forget that.
No, but there's
Trevor
a man.
Horn's studio, and he's got a fabulous high art experimental sculpture all the way across the wall. Now, I did an interview, several interviews there, but the cameraman always just avoids it because some people would just call it mere erotica, and it's not.
Is it filthy?
I wouldn't call it filthy, no. I think it's...
nude?
Two nudes. It's in celebration of male-female adoration. It's a kind of close-up on the genitalia. But inside there, that is my favourite view.
That's the best view in all London.
Yeah, and it's real close-up. And three-dimensional as well. It's a magnificent piece of art. And I don't bash Trevor Horn's choice of art.
I should think not.
No.
Let's get outside for some fresh air. What's your favourite open space?
Buckingham Palace Gardens.
Have you been there?
Not yet. No, because Buckingham Palace Gardens, because this is where I shall be knighted when the England football team deliver the World Cup for Her Majesty to the Queen.
And it will be mainly down to you, of course.
Well, that's right. I will give
almost exclusively.
I will give it to the Queen in the garden.
I would think that's a very fine thing to do.
Which is why that's my ambition and my open space.
Are you expecting honours?
Well, I think Noble England's a good single, and honours is I would shrug off naturally, but if Her Majesty wanted to knight me, I'm there.
He's there. He's coming along. Don't you worry.
That's right.
A favourite or most interesting shop? Are you a shopper?
I wouldn't call myself a massive shopper, but I like sucking fags.
Right. So do you have a tobacconist?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that, because it was only about 2 weeks ago that I went out to buy some fags, and there's a little fag shop on Brick Lane.
Right.
And I just bought some fags in there, and I came outside, I was leaning up against the wall outside smoking a fag, when suddenly I realised that Brick Lane could be renamed Rik Lane. That's why that's the most interesting shop.
If someone lost the B.
And the C.
Yeah.
Because Rik is
couple
spelled
of
R-I-K,
letters.
isn't it?
Yeah, true.
But I just thought that's why it's the most interesting
Or you
shop.
could add a C and a B to your name.
Does that make it vulgar?
No, I don't think so. You would just be Rik Mayall. That's all.
Yeah, but I think there would be billions of hordes of fans and admirers.
And then you could change your surname to Lane by deed poll.
So my
and you'd
name
have
would be
one of London's...
Brick Lane.
Exactly. You'd have one of London's most famous streets named after you. I don't know why you didn't think
And
of
I
that.
would have lots of fantastic curry inside me.
Of course you would.
I think we're talking now.
You see, there's an idea.
See, you get two great minds, you put them together, and what do you get? Utter drivel.
Right then, well, let's get serious. Tell me a proper shop.
Oh, no, that's my most interesting shop.
It really is.
Yes, it is. Ask me
Okay.
another good question.
Well, I don't know if they're any good, but they're the ones that everyone else gets. Your favourite pub, bar or restaurant?
Well, now, I've been thinking about this, because I knew you were going to ask this one as well. And my answer is that down in Fulham,
Yep.
which I do believe is south of the river.
It certainly is.
I know
No,
that,
Fulham isn't. Fulham's north of the river. Putney's south of the river.
Oh, well, it's that area of London. Anyway, I was taken there for a birthday. Now, it was a few years ago. There's a lovely restaurant there. Are we allowed to say
The
this?
River
This is
Cafe?
amazing.
Yes, of course you are.
Well, I mean, I'm all right with swearing on the radio, but not advertising. I'm talking about a lovely Thai restaurant.
Oh,
called
a Thai restaurant.
It's called the Blue Elephant.
I know it indeed.
Well, there you are.
Right.
And it's got fantastic waterfalls. It's got flowing water everywhere. As you know, it's really beautiful. The Thai food is fantastic, and there are sort of little bridges in between the islands. I'm only saying this, Roger, so that I'm only saying this, Robert, so that the viewers can understand. There's water everywhere, and there's fish in the water. There's flowing waterfalls. A fantastic.
And there's fish on your
Thai
plate
food.
if you so desire.
I haven't quite got the guts for that, really. But you could. And they've got fantastic fish in the water. They've got the most beautiful waitresses as well, if I'm allowed to say that.
Are you allowed to say beautiful waitress?
And I just think it's my favourite restaurant.
Okay, what about a pub or a bar? Are you a drinking man?
I'm not a drinking man, as you know. I don't think or go pub because it's got in my bag.
Doesn't suit you.
I don't have to drink. I've had to drink for 10 minutes.
Right then. I'm going to give you a night out. Or you're going to give me a night out.
All right.
A memorable one of your past.
All right. And this is in London. This is extremely in London. I always used to call it, me and Aid called it the Hammer. And,
Which was what?
And I think it could be that Lemmy called it the Hammer as well. I'm talking about the great Lemmy from Motorhead.
Right.
I'm talking about the Hammersmith Odeon.
Gotcha.
Or it's maybe called the Hammersmith Apollo.
No sleep
now.
till Hammersmith. Yeah,
That's
it's the Apollo
right,
now.
yes, that's right. There's a band I like. As well as Dr. Feelgood, actually.
I love the
Another great
Feelgoods.
band.
Did you see the Feelgoods film?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I got texted by one of my mates and I missed it.
Well, it is brilliant, and we had the director on, and it is just fantastic. I would heartily recommend it. I'm
Well-
sure it'll be out on DVD soon.
Well, I hope so, because one of the great moments in my life, and this does not involve London, although you could
That's
say
all right.
that you could say the Feelgoods are a London band, so sort of. Aid and I, we played Norwich. We played a big bottom gig in Norwich, and suddenly, in my dressing room, in walks Wilco Johnson.
Did he walk like Wilco Johnson walks?
No, he didn't. He was Wilco, and he had his son with him who wanted to come and see. But I just practically fainted. I mean, that's just my God.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, they were a great band, the Feelgoods.
Indeed.
So this night
All
out,
respect to Lee Brillo.
this night out, not in the company of the Feelgoods, but possibly in the company of the Ace of Spades.
That's when I set fire to the set for Bottom with my penis.
You did that.
Yes. We had some explosives in my trousers. This is before the audience were in, actually. I'd had the explosives set in, and I was explaining, okay, so what you got to do, Rick, so when it kicks you in the bottom, okay, Aid, you hit me in the back of the head, alright, and I roll over there, and I press the button here. Yeah, this one here, yeah. And by the front of my trousers sort of blew off, and there's a lot of flame, and it set fire to half the set. But they managed to put it all out. But,
Has it led to lasting consequences?
well, I knew you'd ask that, and only ladies can ever find out. But the lady who does find out will win a copy of my new single.
Right, that's
That was a pretty hefty advert, wasn't
got to
it?
be worth it.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a day off, right? I don't know what you can't do. You can't sing
Sleep.
that song. You can't do anything theatrical.
My ideal day off in London is sleeping.
Really?
Yes.
Where will you be keeping? At home or in someone else's home?
That's a bit of a dangerous one. Now, Kate Moss and I are just good friends.
Be calm.
We're just very good friends. You may have seen she played Maid Marian for me once. And now I know that this isn't live radio. I know
this is live.
I know
be calm, sir, and be careful.
I've always had a problem with Kate. I've got 2 pictures of her up on my wall, back in my study at home.
Rick?
And that is how I'd spend my ideal day off.
If at any point you were to rise from your slumber,
Hope
would you
Kate-
go anywhere and do anything?
If Kate wanted me to, I'd
No,
do it.
she's not there. She's left earlier.
Oh, well then I'd go and hang myself in the toilet or something. Something terrible.
All right, then. You got someone visiting who's never been here before. Where would you take them?
Right. Someone who doesn't know London well, and
Yep.
I've got to take him around London for today. Okay,
Yep.
right. I know what I do here. If it's someone who hasn't been to London before, I'd show him, I'd tell him what's going on. I like to I'd go out shopping with him, and I go straight to Topshop. Right?
Oh,
Then
you
I go
devil,
out
you.
for lunch at Starbucks.
Right.
Frappuccino is my fave. And then I meet up with my girlfriends, and we sleep up at my place, alright? Then we go straight out to get a McDonald's carry-out, and then we go to Starbucks again, and then we go straight back to my place for a sleepover and stay up all night watching Britain's Got Talent to show them what it
Perfect.
means to be British.
Providing the person who's just come to visit you is a 9-year-old girl, that's a perfect day out.
But yes.
What more could you possibly
What
want?
are you suggesting? I'm saying, this is what London's about.
Yeah, we're not going to get serious here, are we?
Yes.
The worst...
All right then. Ask me. Go on then.
No, you can do me a real day out if you want, or you can tell me the worst journey ever in London.
All right. Look, the reason kind of Hammersmith is that's my stomping ground really.
Right.
And there was one of the great pieces of art ever taken was the opening sequence to Bottom, the telly show.
Yeah.
Where you've got just a lovely shot of Richie and Eddie sitting on a bench. Now, if you were to come to the end of King Street, where King Street meets the roundabout, the big roundabout.
Not a glamorous part of the world, it has to be said.
No, but it's a real part of the world.
Very real.
And
there's always real traffic jams.
damn right. But if you were to walk from the end of King Street to get to the Hammersmith Odeon, Hammersmith Apollo, however you want, the Hammer,
The Hammer.
then you cross that road. There used to be, because it's a double lane road, there used to be a little island in the middle, and that's where there was a little bench, which is where Richie and Eddie were sitting in the opening sequence
Yep.
to the show. Then one day I turned up and the bench had gone, and they put Pelican Crossings there, and it's just not there anymore. And that, for me, is that's the worst journey I ever made. When one day, because I always loved that bench, no one else would.
That was part of your geography, and they took it away.
Yeah, which is kind of sad. But on the other hand, around the other side of the roundabout, with that enormous apparent building in the middle of Hammersmith roundabout, which is we've got the bus station inside it. When they were just putting that up, there's a very clever man called Ed Bye, who's a very talented director. He said, all right, boys, we've got to get a title sequence together. Come on. We ran down Wood Lane looking for somewhere to take shots, and that's when we shot us on the bench there, and they were just building this enormous building. And there's Richie and Eddie looking out of the window of a half-built place, which is also in the title sequence. So I think the history of Hammersmith is very much
Well,
in the Bottom show.
Before that roundabout that's there now, and that thing in the middle of it, it was one of the most confusing bits of London, because if you tried to get in the tube, there was that bizarre walk up the kind of alley, and then there was that kind of, that pub, whatever the pub was called there, that grand, giant old pub that used to have kind of rock gigs in it occasionally. I can't remember what that was called, which apparently had a Masonic temple at one point.
Really?
Yes, in the back of the pub. I mean, it was a truly broken bit of London, but I quite liked it before.
Yes, I know it's got a romance to it, but ultimately there is a logic to it, and it works. I mean, you can catch the bus there, and you get on the tube, and you get where you want to be, or get from the tube onto the bus, and all sorts. It's just that my old bench, me and Eddie's old bench, that's what I miss most.
That bench is gone.
Yes. But the memory's there.
Your favourite fictional Londoner? Oh, no, first of all, your personal London landmark, which I guess is that bench in some senses, but...
Well, no, I tried to make that into my worst journey. My personal London landmark is now... I've thought about this. Quite near to the Hyde Park corner is the Royal Artillery. Artillery?
You added an extra R there, I reckon.
Royal Artillery. Royal Artillery.
Yeah.
Sort of memorial.
Yeah.
Royal Artillery Memorial. which is a magnificent piece of sculpture, which was designed by Charles Sargent Jagger. It was thrown up in 1925.
I know it. I know exactly the one you mean.
Yeah, there are several.
It is actually one of the few bits of sculpture that is emotional somehow. You get that real sense.
It does it to me.
It does, yeah.
There are several soldiers, but the one soldier who gets me is one
who's got a cape on.
He's in a cape and he's standing. I'm only saying this to you viewers so that you understand. He's standing as if he's in the shape of a cross, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's the fact you can have the dignity and stuff that the military men would have, and yet for him to be such a naturalistic sculpture of someone with his feet slightly crossed, and he's standing there looking tired and sad, but somehow really strong and powerful, and because it's a slightly larger human being, there's something slightly Roman about it. But he's wearing a cape as well, so you can imagine the rain. There's a lump in the front of his cape that you imagine is his gas mask, and every time the number 9 bus goes past there, I look at him, and he's not looking at me, he's looking down and thinking about his mates that he's lost in the war, and it's such a powerful piece of art. It really does
completely. It's absolutely fun. You're the first person who's ever chosen that.
Really?
That's fantastic. And it is a great piece, I agree.
And if you're on the number 9 bus and you look out the side, then you can see him.
And it seems to me to pull off an incredibly difficult trick, because it is at the same time it does its job, which is it celebrates those soldiers, and it's noble, and it's dignified, and it's almost heroic. And yet it seems to be an anti-war piece.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not triumphalist in any sense
whatsoever. No, it's massively human. It's massively caring. And yet, what's even more difficult, this is a job to mourn artillery.
Yeah.
Now, artillery is a few miles back from behind the
blowing
trenches.
people up. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Blowing people up in the distance. So it's like having I don't know. I can't compare it. I can't put it into words. It's a magnificent statue.
It is. Favourite fictional Londoner?
Eddie Catflap.
Tell me more.
Eddie Catflap is a character played by the legendary actor Adrian Edmondson in legendary. Well, he was the sort of slightly son, but he was in Hammersmith, you see.
Right.
So that's where Eddie always lived. And
so he's a local boy. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and so was Richard, who was my character, and they lived together in some scuzzy old house not far from where my flat was,
Do you keep up with the old fellows? Do you still, as the young ones should be called these days?
Do you ever shut up, Rig, and not talk about bottom?
No, I was going to say, the old fellas being the young ones, and obviously,
Well, it was the comic strip, you could call it more loosely. So you talk about Dawn and Jen, see Jen obviously because of Aid. It's Pete Richardson is a boy who lives down in the West Country. We spoke about him earlier, and he is still a great filmmaker. He made Stella Street with the great Phil and John Sessions. So Pete's still active and working, and I've got mates down in Devon who I go and see, and I go and stay with Pete and see him a lot. So everyone is still around. But once again, I don't think television is as experimental and daring as it used to be. I don't want to be an old man complaining, but I could do with a bit of work.
A favourite London film, book, play?
I don't think it's been made yet, really.
Well, then you must make it, sir.
Well, that's why I think it should really be the one that Pete's written. Pete and I have written. It Ends Badly.
Right.
It's a film by Peter Richardson. I'd love to tell you the plot, but I can't because it's so good someone will steal it.
You mustn't do that.
It's called It Ends Badly. It did used to be called Extreme Violence. No, it was called... Oh, damn, I can't remember its original name. Something Extreme Violence. Oh, damn, I can't remember. Damn!
Anyway, It Ends Badly seems about right to me.
Yes, it's a better title, actually.
It is.
Yes, because I know the material.
If you could go to any time in London's past or future, where would you go?
I would like to go to see my grave. I'd like to go and see where they buried me, and I'd like.
Will you be buried, or will you be scattered, burnt, buried or burnt? Buried.
I want to be buried.
Do you want an eternal mausoleum?
They won't have one big enough for all my eternity.
I was going to say, there's quite a lot to fit in.
I want to see where they are going to bury me and what the bastards have written.
Oh, you're not allowed to say that.
Sorry, what the bastards have scrawled.
No, you can't say that. Oh, please.
Oh, the B word. I'm sorry. Okay, wait, I didn't know it was a rude word.
You can have an eternal mausoleum, but you see, the thing is...
But what I want written is, here lies the Rik Mayall.
The underlined or in capital letters?
The underlined.
Yeah.
Here lies the Rik Mayall.
Not any old Rik Mayall.
And then underneath it says, it's not true. That's what I want written.
Except, you see, one day it will be.